Hi, I'm Rianne, and
Nemesis,
welcome to RN Homesteading.
where we're documenting our urban journey to our living lifestyle. Yo. So, what we're starting off with today is, I mean, granted, this already happened, so for you guys, this is a little bit behind. But either way, it still needs to be documented. But we started our seed sprouts and all of that stuff. I mean, if you guys have been paying attention to the shorts, you'll have already seen some of the updates on how the sprouts are really doing. But this was when we were actually planting everything in. So we're going to go over what we were doing, why, and go from there, kind of winging it, right?
Yep.
All right, so let's dig in, everybody. All right, so this is actually the video that we had shot previously of us planting everything. I was actually off camera, still kind of setting stuff up over here, and here it is. Rianne was setting up the packets of seeds that we were going to be planting at that particular time. So might as well just start off with the soil mix, because this is our very own blend this time. We didn't get a store-bought blend, right?
Right.
So we had gotten some, you can see the big old bag of perlite in the background. That's a giant bag that weighs almost nothing. Can you attest to that?
Yes, and perlite is used to fluff the soil. Another addition that a lot of people use is vermiculite, and vermiculite helps to hold the water in the soil. So like your moisture control Miracle-Gro, that has vermiculite in it.
And perlite and vermiculite are also volcanic rock. So they both have very good properties in the soil. So if you have poor drainage, you need a lot of perlite. If you have too good of drainage, sometimes you need organic material with vermiculite. So it kind of depends on what you got going on there. But the dirt mix that we actually used was Coco Core, and it's basically a sterile medium. And then I put in like about a 20% mix of worm castings into there. Not that the seeds really need it when it first starts germinating, because they got a lot of the energy built right into the seed. But it's for whenever they start getting a little bit established inside their little pods, that they've got at least a little bit of nutrients to wick into themselves while they're waiting to be transplanted. Because like just a few days ago, we had snow. Yeah, snow. Yes.
Mother Nature, just a little bipolar.
Right.
More and more so every year.
Right. And as we're kind of going through, we had beefsteak tomatoes, we had bunching onions. Let's see here. We had the king coral, jalapeno, and
Bell peppers,
marigolds, and we'll go over everything here. So as you would have seen during our very first video, you would have seen us filling in dirt for the cabbage and the Brussels sprouts. And here we are, just kind of prepping, getting that all set up to do it again. That's basically what I'm getting the soil medium over to one side so I can put the tray right in there, make it nice and easy.
If you notice, looking on the racks, there's a black mat underneath this. What we are planting is like tomatoes and bell peppers. They need heat in order to germinate properly. So that is why those racks have black mats underneath them.
Yeah, just two of the racks. This way we could, because like your summer crops, they really won't start trying to germinate unless the soil is above 75 degrees. And realistically, you want to be about 80, 85, and they start taking off like gangbusters. But won't bore you with filling all the dirt in. We'll speed this all up for you, of course. Make sure that you're tamping everything in. You're not trying to press it in with gorilla strength. It just needs to be tamped in just enough that you're not having big old giant air pockets. And then you're making little dimple depressions for the seeds to sit in. And now you can see once she moved the bottom watering tray, you can see on the shelf here on the right side, that's the heating mat that she was talking about. And there's like a little chart on this thing, so you can get ones that are specifically for your seedlings, and it'll have all the information for the different type of temperatures that each seed wants to germinate at. And these ones are temperature controlled, so there's if you do your research on this stuff, you can easily find a lot of this information. Once everything starts germinating, turn the heat off. You don't need the heat once they've germinated. You're just trying to get them to sprout faster and more reliably with the heat. And of course, here we are, dimpling everything in. Ding, 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 ding. Wow, man, I'm real efficient when I'm like this. All right, so now all the trays are set, and I'm going to start labeling everything. The first thing that she's putting in here is the orange bell peppers.
Yes.
Now, this is something that she likes bell peppers. I'm not a huge bell pepper fan, but I'll give them a try because we're gonna grow them.
And I'm not even sure if these are really gonna grow, because they were just seeds that I took from a really nice pepper that was bought at the store.
So you don't always necessarily, and they actually sprouted, guys. Just FYI, they have sprouted. And just know that you're going to be seeing these things in the ground. They have sprouted, so they had to have done something. So seeds that you can get seeds at the grocery stores from the foods you're going to eat anyway. It might take a couple of generations to really correct what you bought from the store, and they get acclimated to your soil. If it'll
even fruit. Sometimes the things that we're eating at the store are bred so that these seeds are sterile, and you can't grow them at home, which is a good reason why you want to start saving your seeds. And
make sure they're heirloom seeds. Always heirloom.
Organic.
Yeah.
Proper.
So she's going to be dropping in, you dropped in just a couple of seeds into each one.
2 into each, I think.
Right. Now, the reason why you're doing that is that you don't want to have wasted space, so you want to make sure that, even if a seed fails, it's better to have to trim one out of the bunch versus having only 3 sprout. So best to have more than what you need when you're trying to germinate. You can always give away the plants to other people. And then after she did that, in those 2 rows, and she starts going into the jalapeno afterwards. And I'm just kind of covering them up, tamping them down real fast.
Now the jalapeno, I had bought a package that's this year's seeds from, and they're early jalapeno. But I'm also going to be planting some jalapeno seeds from plants that I had 2 years ago. So
we're going to see how, and it looks like they all germinated.
Yeah.
So, we're off to a good start.
We're also trying to be realistic on how much we're planting of these items, because peppers, tomatoes, those plants take up quite a bit of space, so it doesn't make sense to start 50 seedlings of each one of these whenever there's no way we're going to be able to eat that much.
Right, we haven't started going to like farmers market yet. We're still trying to get the basics of food growing, and then this is the first year we're ramping it up. I think even beyond what you've ever done, right, babe?
Oh yeah.
I was like, let's grow more, supersized. So as we're going through, and I think this is the cherry tomatoes or the grape tomatoes. And she's like, these seeds are tiny. Oop. Went really fast on that one. So, yeah, and she's like showing us really tiny. Oh, that's when the camera died.
Oh, the camera died.
Yeah. I remember that. The camera did die. For whatever reason, it shut off. So, now, this was like she loves beefsteak tomatoes. And that's what's on these paper towels. She took a beefsteak tomato and like just dried them out on a paper towel.
Well, okay, so
what was the
so
process?
The beefsteak tomato that I got came from a place called Tom's Market, and they sell only organic produce. And literally, these tomatoes were like a 16-inch softball, and tasted amazing. So what I did was, whenever I cut into the tomato, I scooped the seeds out and then laid them across the paper towel, folded the towel over, and then let it air dry, and then put it in the bag, which now the seeds are stuck to the paper towel. So what I'm doing here is tearing sections of paper towel and laying it over the soil. We left a little room in the tray so that we can add more soil over the top.
And then we just like in-watered it once we put the soil up on top. And if you guys haven't checked out the shorts, you'll see that we have a bunch of beefsteak tomato sprouts. A bunch of them. Holy cow.
Minimally 20 plants.
Yeah. And it looks like more are still coming.
Well, and the nice thing about tomatoes is that you can separate them when they have to have their first true leaves. But you can separate them, and you can actually bury part of the stem whenever you're transplanting into a new pot. That actually makes it'll grow roots out of that stem below the soil.
Yeah, like people don't realize those little that furry texture on the stem, like those are potential roots, guys. Tomatoes are one of the few plants that will allow you to do this. Most other plants, like if you try to do a tree like this, you're probably gonna kill your tree. So like you have to pay attention to it. Some like don't want to be buried too far below the root ball on there. Some can handle being buried a little deeper.
Some need to be buried higher because they, like your lavender. Lavender likes dry soil, well-drained soil. So you need to like plant it in a mound so that the water is running down and away from the plant. So it just really, you have to kind of think about what it is that you're growing and what that plant likes.
Right. And then here you see me with a little spray bottle. I'm actually watering down the paper towels with the seeds on there. One, it helps hold them in place and lays the paper towel out flat, so that I can actually cover it with dirt before I actually do a really good, thorough, heavy watering.
And it helped because there's fans blowing in the room and the paper kept wanting to blow back out of the box.
Right. So we got all of that. I mean, she probably put in an easy 100 seeds into this thing, and I would say an easy 20. There's over 25 plants already popped. Easy. So you can actually find seeds already on what they call a tape roll, where they'll be spaced out like 1 or 2 inches apart. And then you can just bury the tape roll as is, water that in, and you're going to spend big bucks on this. Why do that when you can just stick them to a paper towel and do it yourself?
Yep.
So I mean, this is much cheaper way of doing it. And then as you see, I'm just kind of watering everything in. It needs a little bit of water to help promote germination.
Just always label the baggies that have your paper towels, otherwise
They kind of look the same.
a lot of different things look the same.
Yep. Let the organizational freak inside of you free. And here I am filling up the top of it. And me making sure what the temperature that it wants to be set at. And I was like, oh, this thing wants full temperature. So I made sure that before I walked out of the room that it got full temperature before I did anything. Now here you see me kind of like, I poured a little bit on accident. I wasn't actually trying to do that. I was trying to get my hand up over and like, it was a little more full than I was expecting, but you're seeing me use my hand as a diffuser. Why do you want to do that? Is that you can take, because the dirt is not, it's coco coir and not actual dirt. So you're going to see that it's like a lot more light and fluffy. And if it's too dry, it doesn't want it, the water will sit on top. If it's too wet, then it'll just, it'll be fine. But what ends up happening is you can pour the water straight through and actually wash the dirt out. So I'm using my hand as a diffuser to stop the water pressure from really kind of interacting with the dirt too much. Pro tip, unless you've got a watering can that's got like a little diffuser head on there, then you can sit there and just water it like that. But use what you got. As we've heard from other people, the most capable hands are at the end of your wrist. So as I'm going through watering everything in real good, making sure that this stuff's going to have a lot of good water in there, and kind of flattening it all out. And then from here, we put the some plastic wrap on top of it. And why do we do that?
Because it creates like a terrarium effect. It holds the humidity in and keeps the soil damp so that the seeds can germinate easier. And whenever you start seeing them pop through, you take that off because you don't want that extra moist environment to keep dripping down on your plants. That can cause fungus and root rot and all kinds of other things.
Everything you don't want to have happen. So we're just trying to give the seedlings the best environment indoors as possible. But yes, keep an eye on it. And sometimes you'll have them where they take forever to pop, where the seeds will start sprouting. For us, they were like sprouting within days. They were ready to go. Here it is. Now, careful when you're trying to move this stuff. Like, this is in just a bottom tray. I might have wanted to have doubled up this tray just to give it a little extra more rigidity. I might do that at a later point in time, because once this thing has some water in it,
it's wobbly.
It's a little wobbly. So note to self, if you're just putting into the bottom tray, that would be where the water would capture into, that you might want to double up 2 of them if you're doing that. Even if you're doing it with like doing microgreens, you might want to do that too, with that amount of dirt with a higher water content in there. Might prove to be a little wobbly. But again, I'm putting it on the heat mat. And at this point, you can see that I got a fan up here and it's blowing on the plastic. I'm like, oh no, it's going to blow the plastic clean off if I don't come back in and at least put a wind block in for that shelf. Hear me eyeball measuring it. I'm like, yeah, that looks about good. Yeah, let me just break it here. That worked. That worked pure perfect. Now, how do I get this in? Took me a few tries, and then it was just absolutely perfect. Set down, and we ended up doing the rest of the trays and stuff. That we had a couple of other trays that we ended up doing, and I didn't have the video on the last tray. I think we just go for it and just went ahead with what we had. I didn't like if I did it.
That was whenever we planted the bunching onions.
Yeah, we planted the bunching.
Your green onions that you buy in the store.
Yep. And that we've just recently found out that I was missing a few. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm killing them. Am I overwatering them? Did I do something wrong? And I saw a little pole mark in one of the pods, and then I caught my orange cat Zeus chomping on it. So now I got to keep the door shut because the onions are not safe on the bottom shelf.
Just so you know, in the intro, he was sitting back there monitoring us.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a lot of fun actually doing that and seeing a lot of the stuff sprouting. We did not have a very good success rate with the marigolds for some
I
reason.
think those might be really old seeds. I think we have another package of what I saved from last year. I'm not sure.
Yeah, either those are really old or we just like something just went bad with those particular seeds. I don't know, but we had a 0% success rate. The nasturtia like popped off really good. We had them like growing in like the one by one trays, and the roots were like that. Like they were like a good 4 inches out the bottom of it.
Yeah. We had to transplant them.
I was like, "Hey, babe, are they supposed to be like this?" And I'm like holding on, and they're like dangling down. I'm like, so we had.
And those have only been growing for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. So careful with your stuff, guys. Keep an eye on everything. Like we're gonna have to do something about our cabbage here. Thankfully, we're gonna be putting those out very shortly here. Because those roots are actually growing out the bottom too. We should have put those into slightly bigger containers.
Do they have small ones like that are 6-inch deep? Wonder.
I think so. We need ones that go a little deeper for some of the plants because their roots just start seeking quick.
Well, that's also because you're bottom water.
And that's another benefit of bottom watering. You get good, healthy root structures. The roots will go seeking that water, and it'll allow the plant to establish itself a lot better because it has a better root system, and which means that you're going to have less leggy issues. Now, some of my stuff got a little leggy, but it was because I need to get different lighting, more lighting in there. So I mean, not all grow lamps are all equal. I got some really good ones. You guys are ever wanting to know that stuff, hit me up, comments down below. You can always put comments down there. And while you're down there, guys, smash that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. You like how I did that? Like,
oh yes,
it's smooth. It's so smooth when I do that. I'm like a natural. it's like I've been doing this for years or something. So thank you everybody for being here and all that good stuff. We appreciate everybody that is going to be following us on our journeys. And if you have any good ideas for something that we've been doing, remember now we're in zone 5A. So if you're in zone 5A or 5B and there's something that you're doing that might be a little bit more beneficial, hell, put a comment down below. Let us know, some of your tips and tricks too. I mean, this is a community that should help grow, right?
You and your puns.
I know. My dad jokes are strong today. And with that being said, thank you everybody for being here, and may your thumbs always be green.